Hi, I'm Joe Cambrato, CEO and founder of National Business Capital. I've helped entrepreneurs all across the country secure over $2 billion in funding for their businesses. On this show today, we've got some awesome entrepreneurs that are going to pitch their businesses.
How many employees do you have right now? Is your company profitable?
When COVID hit and shut down the world, what we did was we were able to create new jobs that never existed.
How's your relationship with your parents right now?
It was really good.
Wow. And what are you fighting for?
For 10 years, I struggled to get past the $2 million sales mark.
In order to keep scaling your business, your line of credit's gonna have to keep scaling, and you gotta be dialed in these numbers.
You see the opportunity that Joe has here, the opportunity to start getting the right cash.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna get you a little bit coached up on this. We want you to come right out of the gate.
I'm giving you all my secrets, Joe.
I'm Joe Cambrato, and it's time to get funded.
Fund Tank is presented by National Business Capital. To work with Joe's team, go to nationalbusinesscapital.com/fundtank.
Hi. I'm Phil Fogarty, and I'm the owner of PSA Security. We are a security guard service based on Long Island, New York. I have a security company that I've been struggling with funding for the last 10 years or so. Being able to get a decent amount of funding would help me seriously improve my business.
Okay, so we're gonna get you a little bit coached up on this. We want you to come right out of the gate.
We know that you're here because you need capital for your business. As a small business owner myself, I definitely understand what's keeping you up at night. You almost feel suffocated by this fear of not having enough to continue your vision, to provide for your team, and then in some ways, provide for your family and the families of everyone that you employ.
We wanna change that. We wanna change that for you with this magic wand. That's what this is. Joe is your magic wand to get the money and the capital you need to grow, but you have to sell us on it. We have to be invested in your message, and that's what we're gonna help you to do.
And what are you fighting for?
In a nutshell, for 10 years I struggled to get past the $2 million sales mark. In the last 2 years, I have now hit the $4.6 million sales mark, and I do not have the capital to continue to grow.
Okay, let's take it back then. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Why did you start this business?
It became natural, really. I started when I was 16 years old, actually, as a security guard, and it snowballed one thing into another. Next thing you know, I'm running this massive security company.
Tell me a little bit about your upbringing.
Mother and father raised me on Long Island. My father was a truck driver. My mother was a medical assistant. They both struggled to, basically stay ahead of their bills. They provided a great life for us, but I never saw my dad because he was always on the road. I have 2 little girls, and I know that my dad was never home, and I want to make sure I'm home for them.
And how's your relationship with your parents right now?
My father died in 2013 of melanoma cancer, and my mom's still alive.
Did you get a chance to spend more time with him before he passed?
Yeah, I was actually, I feel very blessed, actually. Sorry about that. When my father lost his job, actually, he eventually lost his job as a truck driver, whatever the reasons were, he actually came to work for me.
Wow.
So he...
Wow. Wow.
It was really good.
This business that you were able to create, not only did you get to spend time with him, you actually pulled him in and he saw the legacy, the impact, maybe not in his life, but in yours. So tell me about those 10 years.
10 years was hard. It was, again, I started when I was a kid, working nightclubs, stuff like that. Next thing you know, we're doing all these events and nightclub bars, and that was predominantly what our business was for 10 years. Then all of a sudden COVID hits, shuts down the business, and I didn't leave my office for 3 weeks, changing the direction of where we were going, what we were doing. Next thing you know, just for an example, we're a security guard company, right?
Yep.
No cameras, it's all manpower, right? Literally had one patrol car before COVID. After COVID, now I believe, I apologize. I believe now we're up to 24, a fleet of 24 vehicles.
Wow.
Just to show you the kind of change in the last 3 years. Yeah.
Right? Talk to me about the numbers that you had in 2019 versus 2020 versus 2021 and 2022.
In 2019, we again struggling, hit $2 million in annual sales.
Okay.
COVID hits, shuts us down. I was able to actually, an interesting part of the story was I was able to land a contract with Suffolk County for social distance monitors.
Whenever you feel, sometimes, whenever I feel like a little bit of nervousness or shake, but just grab them strong legs,
Got it.
thick thighs, they save lives, right?
Got it.
Okay, grab them, and so that no one sees you shaking, because even, I know you're so confident in your story,
Yeah.
but you don't want anyone to see that. So when you're up there, find a place to put your hands
Got it.
so that it doesn't come off, okay?
Okay.
Continue.
We created positions for social distance monitors, something that never existed in the world.
Position, say it again?
Positions for social distance monitors.
What is that?
Basically, we told it was for Suffolk County for all the parks and beaches, right? And instead of having security guards, we would put guards out to maintain. People would have 6 to 10 feet between
Smart.
them. And it was a massive
Yeah, because I went to Catholic school, so you know how the nuns would be like, at the dances. Okay, so you made a whole business out of it. You're making millions off of that?
Made a whole business out of it.
Okay.
So it was interesting, you know. So 2020, we actually hit $2.5 million in sales annually.
Congratulations.
2021, we hit 3.2 million.
Okay.
And then 2022 is 4.6.
Good stuff.
Yeah. If I had the capital behind me and the funding, I would be a $50 million company right now. I literally am turning work away.
That's your thesis statement. What you just said, by the way, when you go up in front of Joe, start there. Hey, my company does this, and if I had the funding, it would be a $50 million blah, blah, blah. My company does X, it's grown X% year over year, and if I had the funding, I would be this big. I'm turning business away,
Yeah.
right? Lead with that as like your header,
Okay.
then come in and kind of explain, like, so one, he's from Long Island, you're from Long Island.
Yeah.
That's one, that's already straight there, right? So I think you can say that, where you're from. I think you can talk about your why, like, so if you lead with that, say where you're from, say again, like, why you started this business. He's a businessman as well who has kids, he gets it.
Yeah.
And then jump right into the specifics of what you need. So what would you use this loan for?
Well, last year I took a few cash advance loans. I ended up taking $700,000 in loans,
Been there.
but I paid back $500,000 of it
Okay.
last year. So right now it killed my cash flow. So I would like to get rid of those loans and then get back to doing business.
You see the opportunity that Joe has here. You see his fintech platform
Yeah.
as the opportunity to start getting the right cash.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's the core of it. And so you need this money so you can become a $50 million company.
Yeah.
And make him a lot of money too, because you appreciate the fact that as a fellow Long Islander,
Yeah.
he's been helping businesses like yours.
Absolutely.
And then maybe offer him some security services at the end.
Whatever it takes.
Okay. I think you're gonna be great, man.
All right. Got
And
it.
you're gonna do great. I'm gonna be rooting for you up there.
Okay.
All right?
Alrighty.
Awesome, man.
All right.
Cool.
Hi. I'm Phil Fogarty, and I'm the owner of PSA Security. We are a security guard service based on Long Island, New York. We need this. I'm here because in 2022, our annual sales was $2.5 million. 2021, we did 3.2. 2022, we did 4.6. Right now, currently, we're on track to hit $5.5 million in sales, and I cannot take on any more work. I'm turning work away because I don't have the funding. If I had the funding, we would be a $50 million company right now.
Wow, that's pretty impressive for the first few years. What type of security work do you do?
Security guard services and all types of security. Gated communities, apartment complexes, event venues, concert venues, private protection. If it's a physical security guard, we do it.
Got it. Okay. And what's holding back what's like the working capital challenge right now? Like when you get paid, who's paying you? You mentioned there's gated communities.
Yep.
What are the other, like commercial? Is all commercial?
Actually, a lot of our work is homeowner associations or board of directors, so to speak. So we are all business to business.
Okay.
All of our clients, it's direct pays from us. The issue that we have with our funding is that we aren't able to invoice until our work is completed. So if we're for a gated community for the month of March, I can't invoice until April 1st.
Got it. So your guys are going out there, guys and girls, doing security work. You're paying all those salaries for those first 30 days.
Laying it out.
Yep. And then when you invoice, what are your terms on your invoices?
30 to 90 days, depending on the
Wow.
client.
Stretch that all the way to 90.
I'm
Wow.
really spread thin. I'm laying all this direct labor out without being able to pull it in.
So let me, so is 30 days really 45? Is 90 really like 100, 120?
Our sweet spot is we get a lot of our payments between 30 and 60 days.
Okay.
There'll be some that will lag, and some will get early.
Okay, got it. How'd you get into this business?
Well, I actually grew up in East End, Long Island. Started when I was 16 years old, working in the Hamptons. Started working at all the big nightclubs. I got really good at doing security, and before I knew it, I was running most of the hot spots that a lot of people have been to locally.
So then what happened? Was there a shift?
Yeah, well, actually, and this is the funny part. We were a $2 million company. We were all events, nightclubs, not a lot of commercial guard work.
So it was all venues, basically.
A lot of venues,
Okay.
right up until 2022 when COVID hit. 2022 comes, COVID hits, shuts down the world. Next thing you know, I have to change the entire focus of my business. We changed directions in 3 weeks.
In 2020, you mean, right?
2020, I'm sorry.
Yep,
2020.
yep, got it. I see. So that's been it's really the last 4 years. So you completely pivoted.
Yep.
Because COVID happened, that was it. Like they're all venues closed. So your business stopped?
I believe that I'm a fighter and an innovator. So the bottom line is when COVID hit and shut down the world, I wasn't taking that for as this is the answer and this is where we're moving forward. So what we did was we were able to create new jobs that never existed. We got a contract with Suffolk County Parks and Recreation, where we provided social distance monitors to all the parks and beaches. And that was the segue to breaking our ceiling through that $2 million annual sales.
Wow. And what was the end of, was that mid 2020? Like what point in the year of 2020 did you make that pivot? How long did you go without revenue
It was
for?
3 weeks after COVID hit.
Wow, so you moved.
Fast.
And what gave you the idea to pivot into that? Like, how'd you come up with that? Was it a relationship? Like how'd that happen?
I have 2 little girls, and not making it is not acceptable.
Yeah, I definitely hear that. That's good motivation. And how much business do you think is out there? You said going to 5.5. That's great. Like, do you have are the companies that you're working with, are they looking to give you more business? Is it moving into other areas? Like, where is this additional surge of business coming from?
We don't put any money towards marketing or sales. We literally are referral based only. The quality of our service speaks for itself, and the clients are calling us, and it's coming in naturally. The phone is ringing off the wall, and I literally can't take any more contracts because I can't lay that money out in direct labor wages.
Got it.
There are 3 or 4 different companies that I never in a million years thought that I would ever be a competitor to, and we are. I'm getting calls every day from these other customers of my competitors' clients that want me to take on the contracts.
How many employees do you have right now?
186.
Wow.
I think what makes me different from other security companies is that most of them are owned by people with law enforcement experience. I've never had law enforcement experience, so I do things totally differently than anybody else.
Yeah, that probably gives you an advantage.
I think it does. I'm giving you all my secrets, Joe. All my secrets here, A big part.
I'm just trying to understand the business, right?
I understand that, and respectfully, it's why I'm giving it to you.
Yeah. Listen, I think that you're onto something, and I think that you've got a real opportunity. I know there's a real need for your industry and what you're doing.
The greatest part about what I do is it's recession-proof. The worse the economy get, the more the need is for security.
Yeah, that's actually a good call, and I definitely get that part as well too. I think that there's a money challenge here too, but I think as you hit this $5 million mark, that it's getting to 2 million, right, and then getting to 5 million, things wobble a little bit. Getting to 10, things really start to change.
Yep.
And what's interesting is you can get to 10 million really, really quickly, money will definitely help that, but there's gonna be like a team thing. There's gonna be something else there that you're gonna really have to focus on so the wheels don't wobble too much and really start to fall off. And this is where I see businesses going from that 5 to 10 million, and then it's 10 to 15 and then breaking to 20. Like these are really interesting moments.
Yep.
So just like you've got that plumbing in check, what you did with the accounting, there's gotta be some preparation to have a surge
I
of
have
all
to
these
give my
additional people.
CFO that I hired a lot of credit. He did a lot of teaching, and I learned. I listened and I learned. It was a culture of learning lean and mean is the way to go, and then also dealing with COVID. It showed us that a lot of running the companies, this company, and it doesn't matter what state it is, can be done from our office.
Yep. Is your company profitable?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
I might have a different answer to that. If I didn't have those cash advance loans, yes.
Got it. Okay. What is your profit margin?
I believe it's 1.8, which I don't know if that's actually accurate.
Okay.
But
Got it. Do you know what the percentage-wise is like on your profit margin? Like in general, like overall, if you do X in sales, your
Yes.
gross profit margin is?
well, I know that if I didn't have the cash advance loans last year and
Yeah.
that I took, we would have actually had $330,000 left at the end of the year after all salaries paid.
Got it.
Salaries
Okay.
and debts.
All right. So Phil, how much money do you actually need?
I think the number is probably about 600,000.
Okay. I think, one thing when I ask you what your profit margins are, you don't know that number. You need to know those numbers. And if you're going to be pitching your business, especially start to get to these bigger amounts, because let's just say you get this and I work with you, right? Well, then there's going to be a round two, and like this, in order to keep scaling your business, your line of credit's going to have to keep scaling, and you got to be dialed in these numbers.
Yep.
We're going to talk, and then I'll let you know.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
He's in the people business, so you have to understand he's balancing literally giving his secret sauce on TV, not knowing what's going to happen. So without being so direct, what he was trying to say was that, the pandemic tested the people problem, and he showed, unlike everyone else, that he could solve it. And his methodology is essentially leaning on a kind of like a trainer of trainers model, and looking at going from hub and spoke with each individual security guard and actually really investing in a supervisor level. I think that he has really good instincts. 3 weeks into the pandemic, we were all sitting with our pants off, wondering if we need to leave the country.
Yeah.
He's figuring out how to save
So
his
that's-
business and
Thank you.
execute.
And listen, I think, getting him to 5 million, it's awesome when he's done. Going from 5 to 10 is where things start to really get wobbly. And once you break that 10 million and have a lot more people, it all of a sudden overnight, because the business is there, so it's amazing because you can scale fast, but that also is, is a concern. But there's definitely a way, I feel like that we can, that I can work with them and help you. Everyone thinks if I just get the money, I'll solve all my problems.
No.
But sometimes I don't even know the problem they're solving or how much the problem can actually make.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's super important.
Absolutely.
But I think there's an opportunity to really work with you, and it's amazing what you've done and pivoted. In 3 weeks, you made a move. Your revenue stopped, your business stopped, you got your life in your line, your family. Like, I completely get it, and I've been there. So I have a lot of respect for how you pivoted and made it happen, and really innovated and reinvented yourself. And you didn't sit around, waiting for someone to do it for you. So I think, based on what we talked about here, it's probably in like the 3 to 350 range.
Okay.
But that'll be a really great start to put some sort of line of credit in place that really will help scale with you.
Okay, great. Very excited. Thank you for the opportunity.
Awesome. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Shake his hand, man.
Good job, Phil.
Y'all do
So what I loved about Phil is there's a number of things. I mean, COVID literally punched him and his business in the face. He got completely knocked down. His revenue stopped overnight. He didn't take any time. Like 1 to 2 weeks, he said, you know what? I have to completely pivot and shift. And he went from, a security business that was doing, bars and nightclubs to now completely going commercial to shopping centers and apartment complexes and things like that, but he had to figure it out, reinvent his whole business. He went literally down to zero, doing no revenue, to then scaling back up and growing fast. On top of that, he dealt with some other, challenges, and he's just a fighter and kept pushing through and making it happen. So I have a lot of respect for Phil, and I think he's got an amazing opportunity to grow and scale his business. So I'm truly looking forward to work with him, secure the right type of financing to grow and scale the right way.
Fund Tank is presented by National Business Capital. To work with Joe's team, go to nationalbusinesscapital.com/fundtank.